Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alexis, and on this channel I talk about important lessons and takeaways that I get from viral topics and viral conversations. Today the topic is going to center on female friendships, and what inspired me to make this video today is a recent fallout that happened in between two recording artists, Spice and Cleotrapa. I like what she did with the name, Cleotrapa, Cleopatra. So these two recording artists were industry friends because they became friends after they hit fame, and they recently fell apart based on the words of Cleo. She says Ice Spice is a fake friend, Ice Spice is self-centered, and Ice Spice is entitled. And she put together this like 5-part mini series, I believe, on TikTok, where she explains all this after Ice Spice invited her to come on tour with her. So Ice Spice hit her up very short notice asking her to go on tour with her, and all of this was done without any legal contract, by the way. So she called Cleo. It's almost as if she was asking her to just help her out, and Cleo accepted. Now obviously I don't think anybody believes that Cleo just went on tour with Ice Spice without signing any contract, because she's such a good friend. I'm pretty sure she wanted to benefit from going on tour with somebody as big as Ice Spice. And when I say big, I obviously don't talk about artistry, because Ice Spice is not a good rapper at all. But right now, she's more popular than Cleo. So I assume that Cleo wanted to benefit from that clout a little bit, which is unfortunate because Cleo has actually been in the game before Ice Spice. I, to be honest with you, did not know Cleo, as shameful as it is, because I feel like we need to invest. We need to take a moment to like get to know the rap girls that are underrated, because like what the industry does is that they just push the rappers that they want us to see, but the real talent are the people that we don't know about. So anyways, it's shameful for me that I only found out about Cleo now. I've seen videos of her around before, but it was really just memes. Like I thought she was a YouTuber. Like I thought Cleo was a vlogger. I did not know that girl rapped at all. But either way, here we are. I call them industry friends because even though Cleo was in the game before, Ice Spice got closer to Cleo as some, fan when she first got to the game. At the time, she wasn't as popular as Cleo, but over time, her popularity went, up. So that's how they became friends, and now they're falling apart. And I believe the same interest that brought them together, like the interest of being big-time rappers, is the same thing that divided them. And I'm going to get into my points in a few to explain what I mean by that. But before then, if you all would please go ahead and please comment, and let me know you stop by. Why not? It's free. Please go ahead and subscribe, and let's get into my points, shall we? Point number one, I just want to say female friendships are so hard to build and maintain. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like we as women do not invest as much into our female friendships as we do any other kind of relationships or partnership with anybody else. So I think we put so much emphasis in having good relationships with co-workers, even like bosses, parents, especially romantic partners that are men. We put all this effort with all these other people, but we neglect our friendships as women, because when it comes to this whole Cleo and Ice Spice type of situation, communication was bad on both sides, but I feel like it came mainly from Ice Spice, because if she was the one who needed somebody on tour with her, it was her duty to make sure that everything was straight. So that's where the main issue started. The fact that she invited this lady on tour with her and she did not take care of her as much as she promised. So communication is not good in between us, and that, I think that's because we neglect each other sometimes. We see each other as competition, and I also feel like us women make ourselves so much smaller than what we actually are. So what happens is when we get into friendships and relationships with all these other people, we make ourselves small. But because we are women and we see ourselves as small, we see other women as small. So the amount of effort that we invest in having connection with everybody else, we do not see the need to invest it in ourselves and in our relationship with other women, especially women within our own age group. Why? Because we see ourselves as small, and we see those other women as small as well, and we don't think they're worth the energy, just like some of us don't think we're worth the energy in our relationship with other people, especially men. We tolerate and forgive men for everything they do. We go back to relationships with men who did us dirty, but we do not have the same tolerance for a lot of our female friendships. When I hear about this kind of story, it has me hoping that we as women can come together a little more. Now, I must say, I do not necessarily trust a lot of other women, because a lot of other women choose to see themselves and other women from the lens of patriarchy or men in general. So because of that, having a friendship with other women is risky. If you are the type of women who have worked on yourself and know yourself, it's very risky and kind of scary to have friendship with just any random woman, because if you're dealing with a woman who's very male centered or who see herself as less than everybody else, you are doomed. Like, the friendship is not gonna work anyway, so you might as well just not even go there with her. But it would be nice if we as women, we can come together a little more. Also, I feel the need to mention that there's so many different things that set us apart as women also. So it's not like womanhood is the only thing we need to focus on. We have differences in race, ethnicity, background, social class, you name it. You have to consider all these different things that also make us very competitive amongst one another, which is crazy, because when it comes to the way society view us as women, a lot of times, depending on the situation, we're just women. Sometimes you might get propped up, or put on a pedestal just to benefit a certain situation that doesn't even benefit you really in the long run. By the end of the day, when I see women of different backgrounds and groups and skin tone, race, ethnicities, it's almost as if we're all getting used. The only thing that makes it different is how we're getting used and for what. But it's almost as if we all have the same faith. And the sooner you know your position in society, the better. But what makes things like female friendship even hard is that a lot of women stay in a state of delusion and they're just competing with one another. But that's just a thought that I had when it comes to this whole thing with Cleo and Ice Spice. I think there should have been, obviously more respect towards one another, more coming from Ice Spice. And I really wish as women we would drop the competition sometimes and see each other as, as women, as important. But obviously all of that starts within us. You see yourself as important and you start seeing other women as necessary, as important as well. Next, trying to form a friendship with the popular girl is so high school. Like, when you get to your 20s, 30s, I think Cleo and Ice Spice are in their 20s, but when you get to that stage in life, I don't see why anybody would want to have a friendship with somebody because they're popular. And the reason why I say that is because Cleo obviously accepted to go on this tour, especially with such short notice, because Ice Spice was a big name in the game and she wanted to get her name out there. Now, I'm not going to be too hard on Cleo because Cleo is an independent artist and it's very hard for independent artists to pull themselves up from the ground. So I respect Cleo and I see how she would have wanna rub shoulders with somebody who already have a footprint in the game, if I would say that. I mean, I don't even think I should say that because Ice Spice is like 1 foot out. Like, people don't even care for her anymore. Her downfall is like happening right now as we speak. But either way, I can see how Cleo wanted to go over there to chase an opportunity. But what matters more than popularity is authenticity. Now, I'm pretty sure this situation pretty much gave Cleo some clout, well deserved. But in her case, I think it's better to be authentic and to be real and to be natural, to be your real self, instead of trying to rub shoulders with somebody who you might not even have that much in common with, who is going to give you an image that doesn't even fit your personality. So I know I saw some pictures in between Ice Spice and Cleo, and these are two women with really big personalities. Like, their presence is there. I mean, I think Ice Spice is a little less confident. She seemed a little more boring. She seems like she doesn't have more personality. And Cleo also have a big personality. Like, she's very confident. Like, she's beautiful. Like, she's bad. You know what I mean? Like, she is that girl. And you see them both in the pictures together. And the only way a friendship like this could work is if once in a while or even all the time, both of them can make room for the other person and the space that they occupy. But it don't seem like those are two women who would do something like that. Like, they're very imposing, like they command the room, very confident. And just in this case, Cleo needed some clout, I believe, but it never benefits anybody, especially as women, to go after the girl who's popular. It takes away from your strength a little bit, like your personality, because you would have to dim your light. If you are unfortunate, you'll be going towards a popular girl like Ice Spice, who probably knows that she got to a level of fame that she's at for all the wrong reasons. not because of talent, not because of anything sustainable, but just because she's considered pretty. Which, by the way, I don't see that woman as pretty at all. That's just me. I don't know where people see her as attractive. That's not what I see when I look at her. Ice Spice don't look pretty to me. But the people are saying she is, and she also benefits from colorism, if we're going to keep it real. Just stay away from that kind, because here we are, the friendship didn't work anyways. Benefiting of the clout from drama, I don't know if that lasts a long time, and this is what Cleo is benefiting from at the moment. But if people were knowing her for her rap and her rap music only, I think that would have had more longevity for her career. But right now, people only know her because of this drama and her being attached to Ice Spice. I don't think that's a good thing at all, and that's what chasing the popular girl is gonna get you. So just be yourself, be authentic, and if eyes are supposed to be on you, they're gonna be on you. Next, if you meet a girl or a woman who copies all your moves and your smallest, simplest habits, run far from her. Run, okay? Like run, because when anybody, have such a lack of personality, lack of individuality, and they want to cling onto you to feed off your energy, to copy your moves, and to take some of your spirit a little bit, that becomes very dangerous, because sooner or later that person is going to realize that they cannot be you. And then when that time comes, all that admiration that they have for you is going to turn into hate. And that hatred going to be mixed with jealousy, and that's going to lead to a clash. And I think this is what happened here, because based on what I came to find out is that when Ice Spice started her rap career, Cleo was already on the scene, but she was not who she is now. A lot of her style was inspired by Cleo, so she's been copying Cleo's style a lot. And from what Cleo said in the little 5-part mini, story time, is that Ice Spice was the one who approached her, and she told her that she admired her. So Ice Spice already knew her style. Ice Spice already knew who this girl was, but I guess Cleo underestimated that. She still don't have the flavor, like the soul, the spirit of Cleo. Now it's like, why can I achieve this? And it just becomes so bothersome to someone like that, that she's gonna find a way to get revenge. Even though Cleo didn't do anything to her, even though in scenarios like this, girls like Cleo don't really do anything to girls like Ice Spice, she's gonna get her revenge, because now she cannot be you and she hates you. And then plus, just so we're clear, when it comes to popularity, when it comes to fame, you see the popular person as somebody who's not in need of anything or anyone, or who doesn't miss anything pretty much in life. They have money, they have fame, they have beauty, right? But the famous person who lives in your shoes don't necessarily see things that way. They still have insecurities, especially when your fame has been fabricated by record labels and the media and the blogs, the way it has done for Ice Spice. She knows that she don't got it like that. A lot of famous people know that they don't got it like that, that it's actually the people who never made it that got it, but it's just the circumstances and the right connections in the industry that got them to where they are. They know it. It's probably haunting them so much that they want to keep making sure that other talents don't make it to the scene as them. So they want to get closer to all these newer artists, like smaller artists, not to necessarily help them or guide them, but to dim their light. Somebody like Ice Spice knows that she ain't got it like that. She don't have a personality, individuality, no style, no nothing. She just talks on the beat. She doesn't have, I don't even know if she has any story to tell. Like, what has she ever been through? Like, I've never had that type of song from her. I don't even listen to Ice Spice, if I'm going to be honest. But, Cleo, now that I know who she is, she really talks that talk. Like, she really got it, she got that sass, like what rappers are supposed to be. I can see it in her. And if you think Ice Spice isn't noticing that, you are sadly mistaken. Ice Spice saw it from a mile away, and she thought she could just copy her style and get that, but she's not going to. Next, I must say, I was very impressed to find out that this whole story didn't involve a romantic partner or a man or boyfriend or husband. And I'm only saying this because we are so used to seeing women falling apart for men, that when I found out that this was just, female competition, I was like, It's interesting to see women fighting for like a top spot, or because of jealousy or because of things like that without having a man involved. Because usually there's always like a man involved, a boyfriend. I mean, they seem to be fighting because they're jealous of each other, whatever. But then when you dig into it, you find out that there was a boyfriend involved, like a husband, a guy that one of the girls liked. But in this case, it's really just about the tour. It's really just about making money. It's really just about recognition and being treated well. So, as weird as this point might be, I just noticed that this case was a little different. Every time girls fight, it's always like a boyfriend or a man behind it. So it was a little, damn, I don't want to say refreshing because there's nothing good about two friends falling apart, but it was a little different. And it was nice to see two friends, falling apart, but there was no man behind it. Because aren't y'all tired to give all these men so much power? But anyway, next, I just want to say this entire fallout was just for entertainment, and I do not trust that any of these women have learned their lesson. Ice Spice needs to work on her jealousy. And I know she responded to Cleo, but she was just being arrogant about it. Like she was acting like she helped Cleo out and she gave Cleo opportunity and Cleo was unappreciative. That is not what's going on. Like she really did treat her badly. Learn your lesson. So obviously she's in denial, and I don't think Ice Spice is ever gonna take the time to acknowledge the fact that she was jealous. So I don't think she's learning her lesson here. And on the other hand, I don't know if Cleo is learning her lesson either. The lesson for Cleo is do not ever put yourself under another woman's wing for whatever reason. Do not ever put yourself under another woman's spotlight, trying to share the spotlight with her, thinking that it's going to benefit you. I think they're just both feeling like victims and feeling used, but I don't think they really understood what needed to be understood in this scenario. Ice Spice is gonna go by her day thinking that she's still that girl, even though she's not. I know I sound like I hate Ice Spice, but I promise I don't. She's just not impressive to me. And then Cleo, I know she sees herself as the victim, and she is, but has she learned her lesson, which is there's no friend in the game? Learn that. Has she learned her lesson that you can't just let people disrespect your space, your time like this? You can have somebody call you and jump on the tour with like a few hour notice. In my opinion, I think she handled it pretty well, because if she had just done something drastic or something violent or something aggressive, it would have been very easy to spin the narrative that she's the problem, even though she never was, solely because Ice Spice has all the power. Have both ladies learned your lesson? I hope so. I have a lot of hope in Cleo. I have no hope in Ice Spice. She still thinks people are jealous of her when she's the jealous one here. Next, this whole story brought about the topic colorism in the black community. So colorism is people who get discriminated against because of the skin tone that they have, and usually colorism impacts darker skinned people more because, I mean, think about it. If racism have all this economic, psychological, educational impact on people who are black, then just think about it. Just apply the same logic to colorism. If you take it to the black community, people who are closer to whiteness or lighter skin have privileges that darker skin people don't have. And in this case, we can see it in the rap industry, how a lot of the women who make it to the top with little to no talent are usually white passing, biracial, mixed. They're usually not black, but they're marketed as black women. Black people, especially black women here in the US, have accepted that, which brings me to my point now, which is I don't think dark skinned women realize how much they contribute to your own demise. Yes, I'm a dark skinned woman myself. We do that a lot. We give everybody, especially our lighter skinned female counterpart, too many excuses, too many passes. We accept them as the face of us, even though they're not. And people like Cleo get looked down upon. Like, for the sake of fitting in with everybody else, we accept the fact that the women who look the opposite of us are better than us. And that's because some of us don't want to shake the boat. And that's what's going on in this situation where, first of all, Cleo was a victim of colorism, but she too might have had some colorist tendencies, because we can talk about low self-esteem and how she could have have a little more of a backbone and not go to tour with Ice Spice. But then the question is, why did she feel the need to help out this one friend? Does she help out other dark skinned women in the industry as much as she was willing to help Ice Spice? A lot of dark skinned women, not just in the industry but in real life, do that all the time. We complain and we cry about colorism, but then we participate in it by tolerating everything colorism does to us. We do not call it out. We do not want to fight the fight. We don't even want to address it. And then that makes it harder for the few black women who talk about colorism, because the moment we speak on it, people label us as jealous. But it's like, it's a real thing. Some of y'all are used to darker skinned women who don't want to shake the boat, who don't want to talk about it, who have accepted your fate. And it shouldn't be like that. Some of us don't want to deal with colorism. Some of us don't want to be victims of colorism. Some of us don't like the way colorism is changing, shaping our culture. We cannot even have access to real talent because as long as a girl or a woman has lighter skin, loose curly hair, she's good enough for who? Talent is dying and we're still focusing on that aesthetic, if you see what I mean. So I think a lot of times, a lot of us are like Cleo. We bend over for our lighter skinned female friends. We do everything we can for them. And when push comes to shove, they show us their behind to kiss. This is not an attack on any lighter skinned women at all. At all. Because I know a lot of lighter skinned or biracial women that are top tier. But in this scenario, Ice Spice was very jealous. She has colorist tendencies, in my opinion. I think she looked at Cleo as unworthy of any effort, any time, any money, any investment, and she treated her as such. And Cleo was the darker skinned friend who accepted that position until she couldn't accept anymore. Yeah, I think a lot of us dark skinned women participate in colorism. We accept it as long as we can ignore it and pretend as if it doesn't exist. We just take it. As unfortunate as it is. Should we do better? Yes. Are we going to? I don't know. Only time will tell. Next, I want people to remember that low self-esteem doesn't have a look. The reason why I say that is because I think low self-esteem applies to both ladies, even though I feel like Ice Spice has a lower self-esteem than Cleo. Low self-esteem doesn't have a look because you could see a girl who you consider to be the best of the best and she still has low self-esteem, and she shows you her low self-esteem through her jealousy, through her trying to belittle you to make herself feel better about herself, and you don't even see it as low self-esteem because you wouldn't think that a person like this has low self-esteem. This applies to Ice Spice. A lot of people who are confused as to why she would be jealous of a woman like Cleo are the people who still buy into the fact that if a woman has the looks, the money, then she has it all. No, there might still be some deep-rooted insecurities in there. Y'all will never know. Someone like Cleo also, she is that girl. She's loud, she's outspoken, she is out there. But guess what? She also have a little bit of a low self-esteem if she's gonna let Ice Spice call her in 24 hours and tell her to get on tour with her. I think there's some self-esteem issues there as well. Now, they both look different and your lack of self-esteem show in different ways, but it's still low self-esteem. Because there's no way, like, there's no respect for your time, and there's not even enough respect to put that on the contract. Because you see, Ice Spice could have also just showed her a contract, but it sounded like she was just like the last choice, the last resort, and they didn't even bother putting a contract together for her. So she accepted that. That's what she accepted. That's the treatment that she accepted. Rings of low self-esteem, the same way Ice Spice have low self-esteem and is jealous of her. So I just want people to remember, some of the loudest, most confident looking people might also have low self-esteem. You never know. And some of the people that you deem to be exceptional or beautiful, like the way people think Ice Spice is beautiful, could also have low self-esteem. Low self-esteem doesn't have a look. And stop looking at people that you consider to be above you and just assume that there's no way they have insecurities or low self-esteem. A lot of times those are the people who actually have the lowest of the lowest self-esteem. So keep that in mind. Next, I think Cleo should have put all her feelings in the song. All of this new age, take your feelings on TikTok type of energy, I'm not feeling it. Okay, fine, you went on tour with this girl to get some of her clout. But for the sake of your career, if you really want to advance your career, do not make videos on TikTok talking. Get in the studio, put all your frustration, anger, pain, anxiety, all of that in the song, and then you show everybody why instead of paying attention to Ice Spice, we should be paying attention to you. But that's not what Cleo did. She just ran her mouth, and she sent out a few tweets. I need for all these new age rappers to stop going on Twitter. Okay? And I really feel like that's what Cleo should have done. But she did not, and here we are. We just talked about it and got over it. Because I think the story already died down. And I just waited to see how the story was going to progress, and nothing special happened. So here I am making a video about it. If you really wanted to up your career like that, it would have been better to put that in a song and diss her so hard that she couldn't even recover. Because we all know Ice Spice could never clap back with a song. If you rap at Ice Spice, she could never clap back. I don't care how low of an effort you put into that diss track. She's never going to be able to match that because she's not a good rapper. So I think Cleo should have used the opportunity. But that's just me. Next, bad female friendships are more detrimental to us women compared to how bad all the other relationships are. Even though we take each other for granted as women, there's a part of us who hope that the next woman understands us. There's a part of us who hope that she understands us and she sees us. She doesn't let us down the way we know it hurts when other people let us down. So we have this high expectation for other women, and when that friendship goes south, I think it actually hurts more than when it's with a guy or anything. I feel like we're used to men doing us wrong. I feel like we're used to family members, both men and women, doing us wrong. Like when it comes to people who we believe are supposed to understand us and they hurt us, it hurts so bad. I believe that this is why Cleo ran on social media without even thinking. Instead of putting it in a song, she just ran to TikTok and shared her grievances with us. I really feel like she was just very hurt. Even though she had evidence to believe that Ice Spice could never be a good friend, she was still hurt. Rightfully so, it hurts to be let down by your friend. I really do believe that the falling out with your female friends as a woman is more hurtful than falling out with family members or romantic partners or professional relationships or whatever. I really do. It's like you expect it to go so well because both of you are women, both of you have things in common, especially a friendship that has been around for a long time, which doesn't apply to Cleo and Ice Spice because they haven't really been friends for like 10 plus years or so, from what I know. But friendship, women on women friendship, like when we fall apart, it hurts really bad. It hurts you and destroys you more than if you were falling out with a boyfriend or so. Next, and this is the final point, I really want people, especially women, to remember that your only competition should only be the person that you used to be. That's all. Especially when it comes to like women on women relationships, like we compete with each other so much and we forget that we are often misunderstood, especially by the opposite gender. You do not know the struggles that other women have to go through as you compare yourself to them. You are doing fine the way you are right now. Do not compare yourself to others. Some women are doing better than you. Some women are doing worse. Sometimes you might think that another woman is doing worse than you, but if you knew her story, you wouldn't even be able to be where she's at if you went through everything that she went through. So you might be confident thinking that you're doing better than her, but if we were to compare both of you and her trajectories, you would see that you couldn't even do half of the thing that she's doing, even if she's not doing as well as you. You could feel comfortable and happy with yourself for being better than the other person, but that's really without merit because you don't know what's going on over there. You could feel bad about yourself for not being as good as that other woman or that other friend over there, but you also don't know what they're going through. Obviously, it's okay to like get inspired by them to see if you can get ideas on how to move up, but too much comparison is really the thief of joy, and I really hope women would like keep that in mind. Look at a friendship that could have been great. Why? I'm pretty sure the girls were comparing themselves to one another. I don't think Cleo did anything to bring Ice Spice down, but Ice Spice on the other hand probably compared herself to Cleo so much. When Ice Spice noticed that Cleo was getting all these lights on her, I'm pretty sure she wanted to dim that light. Comparing yourself. Even though a lot of us think that Ice Spice suck and Ice Spice don't have much talent, she still have people who just like her. Maybe the people who like a Cleo will never like someone like Ice Spice and vice versa. Compare yourself to who you used to be. Don't stay too long over there and then come back to the present and work towards the future. The past you is the only person you need to be better than. The past you is the only person you need to be greater than. That's the only person. But everybody else, you don't control what's going on in your life, and you don't know what's going on over there. And if you keep competing with those people, with everybody else, you will drive yourself crazy. With all that being said, this marks the end of my video. Thank you all so much for those who made it to this part of the video. I am so grateful for y'all. Thank you for sticking around with me. Again, if you please like, comment, subscribe, let me know you stopped by. I will catch you in the next video.